Alrighty, so yeah, we actually do have a lot to talk about when it comes to the toy world. So I guess for starters, let's talk about Godzilla because it's actually been a quite a long time since I've actually talked about something Godzilla related. Now, mind you, it's not because I don't want to, but because there hasn't really been like anything pushing me to really want to talk about it. Don't get me wrong, a lot of good stuff has been coming out a lot lately. You know, Godzilla related. You know, you got Godzilla minus one, which looks very interesting. We yet to know any more information about the new Godzilla vs Kong sequel. Obviously, due to the writer's strike that's been going on, the production of it has been delayed. But now that it's the strike is kind of over, hopefully they'll finally come back to actually working on it. But then again, they did say, just as a warning, that doesn't mean that your movies are gonna automatically be right back up and running. Of course, there's gonna be a lot of issues. But of course, when it comes to like toy companies and all that, of course they're not gonna care about that. Of course, they're gonna try and make as many toys as possible and just milk it, for what it is, right? So today we're particularly going to be talking about just one pack, uh, and it's interesting because I feel like that it kind of says a lot about what to expect for the future of the Monsterverse Toyline. So to give you guys some context, I'm gonna try and explain this as quick as possible, so that way I don't spend so much of the video talking about it. Basically, a pretty long time ago, I want to say like maybe towards the end of 2019 or so, if I remember correctly. So apparently there were leaked images and pictures of like the Godzilla figures, but there were more very similar to like the Bandai Creations figures, of course. Kind of has that sort of kind of sculpt and sort of idea kind of going on because they were around the same price range. Obviously, they were met with some hostility, to say for sure. A lot of people said that the toys were pretty much garbage for what they were. You know, they look weird. The quality wasn't all that. There was the controversy behind the whole Shin Godzilla figure, where Playmates pretty much got accused of stealing the scope from NECA Toys. And there's always been like this sort of weird miscommunication about it, where some people say that it is true, some people say that it's not. Basically, this toy line started off pretty crazy. But most of all, they of course, had the rights to do figures based off of the Godzilla vs. Kong movie, which was originally set to be released in 2020, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, unfortunately, yeah, it got pushed to like a year, so it ended up being a 2021 film, of course. And in the meantime, we got a lot of toys, and they were actually really great toys. I mean, they were like fantastic to say the least. It's like, don't get me wrong, the Godzilla classic figures, I thought they were fine, but for sure, it's not hard to see why the Monsterverse ones would be sort of like Playmate's magnum opus. And I'm legit saying magnum opus for sure, because mind you, this is way before they even called it Monsterverse. I don't even think that they realized how popular the toy line had actually gotten it. So it was eventually expanded to become the Monsterverse line, where we eventually got figures based off of Kong Skull Island, even the 2014 Godzilla film, and they were very nice, unique figures. Now, of course, you got your mixed bag reviews and all that. You know, some people said that they were okay for what they were. They were definitely good for the price range for sure. You were pretty much paying for one figure. It's like paying for one Ninja Turtle, which Playmates was always pretty good when it comes to price range with their basic figures. And of course, crazy ones, you know, you got the Battle Roars, which were kind of decent. They were okay, for sure. And then you, of course, had the Titan Tech, which came out pretty late into the line. And what I mean by that is that we were all met with the very unfortunate news that Playmates would no longer make any more figures based off of the Classics line, which was extremely, extremely unfortunate. But out of nowhere, it was revealed that apparently Movie Monster series might actually get like a US release, meaning maybe the toy line isn't necessarily dead, but now Bandai is pretty much back on the helm of making those figures. But let's not dismiss Playmates, of course. Obviously, they're still making figures based on the MonsterVerse stuff. They said that they were still going to do that. They were just no longer going to do stuff based on the Toho classics and all that, which I think is an extreme shame because we've gotten great figures like Gorosaurus, Rodan, Baragon. I still don't have a Baragon, which sucks, but it'll happen one day. But you get the point. So Monsterverse is still continuing. So what to expect from the toys? Hard to say, because I did make a video talking about some of the leaks that were coming out, and obviously I gave a little bit of my sort of kind of opinion. And long story short, it's really hard to say where it kind of goes. Personally, I think they're kind of fake. If I'm being honest with you, I mean it's pretty obvious. But I think people just really want more Godzilla toys. At least we're getting them. But the one that we've found out about, I found out today that they were doing another 2 pack of Godzilla and Kong. They call it like the Hollow Earth set basically. Very similar to their City Destruction set, and yes, I actually do have that. The only biggest downside though with the set was that it's not you can't really call it a set. It's just mostly cardboard that you're building up, and it's like, yeah, no. You were basically just paying for 2 extra figures, and even then they were just pretty much like the same sculpts reused over and over and over again. Look, at least they're fun toys. I'll at least say that for sure. At least they were pretty good for the most part, you know. So of course it seems that they're continuing with that trend, of course. So they made their Hollow Earth set, which is the exact same thing. You got Godzilla fighting Kong, except they're both painted very differently. And you know, from the looks of it, it comes with like a heave, which is like a weird flying thingy. It's kind of hard to explain without you guys actually watching Godzilla vs Kong, because if you watch that film, then you kind of get the idea. And then, of course, we got the whole set where we kind of got Kong at the bottom, we got Godzilla on top. It's something like that, right? So it's very interesting to say the least. And the colors, too. I love how nice and colorful they are. It definitely matches a lot with, like, some of the colors that we definitely see from like, the movies and their environments, because there's a huge I can't say it, emphasis on, like, glowing and stuff, because Godzilla's, like, very, very blue. And it's like, ooh, cool. It reminds me of that one NECA figure. Remember NECA Toys when they made Godzilla figures? Well, it comes and it goes, all right? Good things don't always last forever. We gotta understand that. But what does it say about the future for the toy line? Well, for starters, Playmates is willing to make pretty much anything at this point, which, I mean, look, I love Godzilla, so I don't really care. I've always enjoyed these figures for what they were. I always say that more Godzilla is good, so hey, bring it. I don't mind, you know? And plus, the good thing is that the set, well, I hope they didn't raise the price, but I think it's somewhere around like 24.99, stuff like that, and that might seem expensive, but considering that if you buy one figure, it's gonna cost you like $10 anyway or so, so it's kind of a win-win. Except you get a little bit extra cardboard and stuff, so it's like, okay, it's fine. And then of course there was the kind of sort of reveal, but not really, of Titan Tech Rodan. We already knew about this figure for quite some time, but it seems like now it's starting to hit store shelves and targets. But that's what a lot of people say. I'm not too sure. Just take my word for it. Well, don't take my word for it, but just proceed with caution, because now I'm like waiting to see any more new stuff coming. But obviously, it's hard to really say, because yeah, we've have gotten these toys that kind of sort of spoiled the movies, but not exactly. So only time will tell. But for sure, it's good to see that Playmates is still making figures based on the MonsterVerse, even if they're not exactly like what we wanted. But at least they're good for the most part, you know. Hopefully we don't have to see any more like Godzilla figures still on clearance and stuff like that, because I was so shocked to see that Battle War Godzilla for just like $5 or so. I kind of want it now, even though I already have it. But I'm kind of little by little, I'm kind of becoming that collector that wants figures like in their original packaging too. I don't know. I don't know why. Don't ask me. I mean, don't get mad at me for this, but I still got a mint on card Spider-Man 2099 as well as a Miles Morales. So you know, and of course I'm keeping them in their boxes because at least you can see it. All right, not like the other ones where you don't really can't really see them. Like I saw like I mean I'm not on Reddit, but while I was just kind of Google searching like GI Joe figures and stuff like that, I found one for I think it was Low Light. He was like the sniper guy, and the guy opened the box and it's not Low Light, it's Dusty, who was another GI Joe character, which really sucks. So swapping basically, that's what that's called. But back to Godzilla. So yeah, it seems like there's a lot of good things, to expect for this toy line, of course. So I can't wait to see what they kind of have next. And repaints, I don't really mind too much, if I'm being honest with you. In fact, I actually don't mind a repaint of like skull crawlers at all, because I know that those are kind of like army builders and stuff like that. Just to kind of give some ideas, because obviously the whole Titan Tech ordeal, it's kind of weird. That's mostly meant to be more like a goofy kind of kids thing, kind of a little bit of a callback to like older Godzilla toys. So who knows? Do you think they'll continue that trend? I know with King Ghidorah, that's gonna be pretty tricky. It's great to see that they actually did make a basic figure of King Ghidorah, which I unfortunately do not have. I would like to have one because it's King Ghidorah. It's Godzilla's greatest nemesis. Why would you not want to have a King Ghidorah? You can even see at the back of the poster, I got the GMK All Out Monsters Attack poster right behind me, and I'm still currently trying to find more Godzilla posters because I just found those by dumb luck. So there you go. Alongside that God of War poster too, which I'm trying to put on my ceiling, or at least maybe on the wall. I don't know. I'm still deciding. But until then, that's about it. So this is a much more shorter video, just kind of discussing a little bit what to sort of expect for the future of the toy line. So the movie was supposed to come out next year, but obviously due to the delays, it might be delayed for another year or so. Who knows? Obviously for toys with these leaks and all that. What do you guys think? Are we gonna get more stuff? Because you know Playmates, sometimes they kind of come in bulks. You know what I mean? They don't normally just tease one thing. I know they kind of used to, with some of their older Godzilla figures. So I don't know. You never know. Are you guys looking forward to some of the new stuff that's coming out? I mean, I know I am. So yeah, that's about it. And I also just kind of wanted to sort of pump out video today because originally I wanted to talk more about the Team NT toy line, where there's supposedly a leaked picture of like Rocksteady with like a motorcycle, and that's supposed to be like a new toy set for next year. And I'm like, wait a minute, next year? This movie came out in August. How popular is this? And as of now, I still have not seen the movie. I don't know when it's gonna come out. I don't know. I already did the pre-recordings for the next toy reviews, so my next toy review is going to be on Bebop. That comes out Wednesday, if I remember correctly, and then after that, it's gonna be an Ultraman Jack toy review. So yeah, that's about it. So until then, leave a like, subscribe, and that's about it. Peace.